Hi everyone! Today we're going to create our very own Valentines to give away, to decorate with. It's really up to you. But I am starting with a piece of Bristol board or watercolor paper. So this is going to be a fun paper craft, and yeah. So I made it easier on myself and probably you if you want to go find some kind of like a cookie cutter or something that can give you the shape of the heart, so that way you can just not struggle with drawing it one way or the other. But I am going to just put it there and use this as a stencil instead of an actual cookie cutter. So I'm just going to trace the lines around, and you can make a lot, you can make a little. There are various sizes to this, so it's really up to you, but it makes shaping hearts way, way easier. All right, so I think we'll probably make possibly 4 or 5. Yeah, so might be able to get away with 6. All right, let's do that. Okay. So I've got 6 on here, and I want to use, let's see, probably red, probably red and white. That way we can kind of keep our spectrum of pink, dark to light, and maybe a little bit of, maybe a touch of black, so we can create a wine color. So a lighter red to a darker red. And probably want to get some brushes as well. Let me go ahead and set up my palette, and I'll be back. All right, so I have, for my palette, I have white, I have red, and I have black. I've also added a little bit of blue, so we can mix the red and the blue and maybe a little bit of white to make different shades of purple. All right, so I have my hearts already drawn out, and I have my other light so we can see a little bit better. And I'm also going to use salt for this. And I've got a nice round brush to soak up the water. So I'm going to start off with pink because pink is sweet and soft and just a nice color. So I'm going to make equal proportions with the white. I'm going to mix this together. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water, really kind of get this very watery. And let's go ahead and touch on. All right, I feel like I need a little bit more water. So you can add it directly and then add just water to kind of diffuse it. And, scribble, you can go outside the lines. We are going to be cutting these, so don't worry there. Maybe add more water. When you add more water, you get a softness in the paper that just kind of does its own thing. All right, I'm going to add just a little touch of red and a little touch of water just to get kind of a different degree of pink in there, like a darker pink. And I'm going to work each one. I'm going to add some salt now. So I've got sea salt, and I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it on there and get it in clumps, and it just starts to react to the paint. It kind of soaks it up, but it just looks really cool. It gives it texture. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just put this on the one next to it because we'll just let the paint and the water do its thing. I'm going to go back into a little bit of that red. I'm just going to add a little bit more red and water in here. Just let that salt soak up and just give it kind of a sort of like a tie-dye effect, but kind of marbly. Maybe go back into some of the pink and possibly add a little bit more water. We're going to get this to move. And just play with it, just kind of mush it around, and who knows what it does when it dries. It always has kind of a different effect when it dries. So we'll let the elements take their course. All right. Let's move on to the other one. Let's go very soft kind of pink with this. So I'm going to add a scoop of white to my original pink mix. So if you ran out, it would probably be 2 portions of white and 1 portion of red to get a nice soft pink. I'm going to add some water to this. And just kind of go in circles. This is a little different because the salt was already on there. Go outside the lines if you want. Cut them up later. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of white and water and try to tone this down in some spots. Use a little bit more water. Kind of move it around, give it a soft, sort of dreamy cloud feel. Just make sure you cover up the inside of the hearts canvas fully, because that is the space that we really want to focus on. And we can add a little bit more salt to this. Sprinkle it on, give it an interesting texture. All right, maybe go back in. A little bit more color and water. Just let that kind of do its thing. All right. Let's do a purple one. So I've got my pink mixture still. I'm just going to take a touch of blue and mix into that. And maybe a little touch of white to get a lavender. More water, and we'll just go ahead and fill it in. And I'm going to mix just a little red and a little purple to get a darker purple. I'm going to add a little touch of water with this. I'm going to add more water and let it kind of diffuse. And it's up to you, the pattern. You can go solid, you could just add some here and there, really diffuse it with more water. Really up to you. Keep it lighter in some spots. You can go back in with water and just diffuse it even more. And then we'll add a little bit of salt. Maybe a little bit more on these. All right, we'll just dump it on that, and there we go. All right, so now I'm thinking maybe a darker purple because we already have that darker purple made. So let's go ahead and do the darker purple. I think there's a little bit more red in this mixture, which kind of almost makes it look like a grape juice. But that's okay. Non-alcoholic version of wine. Pretty color though. And you do get a chance to mix the salt crystals up when you put them down first. And I guess you could do it after, but interesting textures that you get with that. All right, so now I'm gonna do, let's just do red and see what just red looks like. We got two different shades of pink, we got two different shades of purple, and let's do two different shades of the red. So I'm just gonna do pure solid red. And I guess with the water, it'll give it percentages of pink. And go ahead and add a little bit of the salt. And while I still have it on my hand, we'll just add it to the next one. I'm going to just add a little bit more water to this and maybe a little bit more paint to kind of agitate the salt so it kind of works in and the water soaks it up and it makes the paint react a little differently. Or a little bit more actively, I should add. Kind of neat, the little water that kind of streams through, makes it darker and lighter in some spots. All right, let's do a dark red one or a burgundy. So I'm going to just take a little bit of red and a little touch of the black. Maybe more red. All right. We'll add a little bit of water. We get a really pretty wine color or burgundy, but definitely darker. All right, so now that we've got the salt on there, we can add a little bit more maybe to, at least to this one. Maybe down here, a lot of concentration of water accumulation there. And maybe a little more here. All right, we're just gonna let these dry. All right, so I have let these dry and they're still a little bit wet in spots, but we want to start working on the next step of this. So I have some little coaster doilies that I found that are paper, and these fit the heart exactly. So we're going to cut these in half and start to ensemble what our hearts are going to be. So you could probably do these maybe 2 or 3 at a time. Well, let's just do 2 at a time because one for each side of the heart. So you just want to cut them in half. So that's actually for 2 hearts. So that worked out well. And then we'll go 2 more. So now we have 4, and then we'll go 2 more. It might be too many. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So yes, just 1. Okay. All right, so that will take care of the outside, but now we have to kind of fix the inside. So kind of the same thing, I guess. We'll just go ahead and maybe just cut them in half again. We'll see how we do with the ensemble. All right, let's just leave that there for now. All right, we're going to cut out our hearts. As you can see, the salt created a bit of a texture. You want to shake this off in the sink, but for right now, we'll just go ahead and start cutting them out. I'm going to just cut them individually and then start to cut them one at a time. That way some of them that are still wet can still dry. Let's see. I'll start with this one. And you want to cut so you don't see the line. All right, so there's one. And on to the next one. And you can really create these hearts however you want. It's kind of just the gist. I thought it was fun with the salt and the way the water and the paint react. I also have glitter, so maybe we can paint on a little glitter. All right, so now we have them all cut out and we can kind of start to assemble. I've never done this before, so we'll see how the proportions work, but we do have, oh, there's some extra ones on there. Oh, okay. So these will fit exactly. We may need to like cut a little. But how are they going to fit underneath? I mean, theoretically, we could just keep going. Maybe overlap. Not really sure. Now you can use hot glue or you could just use regular glue. I think I'm just going to use regular tacky glue. Seems to be the go-to. So you want to align it, maybe overlapping the lace part just a little. So basically there's one, and you just want to keep going. So, and let those dry. It actually might be easier just to get 4 and put on the glue. And then just glue it in place. So we'll start with that one. Then we'll just jump over here. Add this one down here. And we'll let that one overlap here. All right, and we'll just keep going with that method. I like the laying out 4 and then just assembling it. All right, just to save even more time, let's just line them up like this. Kind of tricky getting the placement. All right, so there we have it. We have all these adorable little laced hearts. Multi-colors if you want to paint them any particular color. All right, so now we can add like sayings to them, like love or XOXO. I'm going to keep it real simple for this. And oh, let's see, we should probably paint that in. So I still have a little bit of white. So we'll start with this one. This one will be cursive-y. We'll just kind of cursive in the L. You can get stencils, you can get stickers. It's really up to you. This is just kind of the base. But there's a million different ways you can decorate with these. Or give them away or use them as a decoration. For all you teachers out there, this could be a fun project. If you haven't seen my conversation hearts, that might be a funner one. But if you want to give handmade gifts away, this is a great way to do it. They're a little cottagecore, actually. Little old school, something your grandma would do. But they're still sweet. It just kind of expresses the sweetness of the season. All right, so there's one that says love. We can do another one that says XOXO. So maybe this one because it's darker. And just XO, XO. I'll thicken that up. I could have probably spaced better, but whatever. You kind of get the gist. So we have XOXO. You can get a darker color for these. It's really up to you. I'm going to do one more, maybe the classic Be Mine. So well, I think I just botched that one, so that's awesome. All right, I just stuck it in there. So really placement is one thing, but you kind of get the gist. So you can just create different sayings, different designs. I just think the lace is kind of fun. It just looks really kind of sweet and sort of old school and just sweet. So easy to do, fun for kids, great for putting together like a centerpiece and adding it to a table or anyway. So write whatever you want on them, but that's pretty much it. I also did another video where I took candy hearts and made those. So these would be fun decorations for a table, but tons of different love here. So easy peasy, super fun. Give them away, use them as decoration, teach kids, but happy Valentine's Day, you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Happy Valentine's Day. So you can take your created Valentines, and if you notice the back isn't so pretty, you can cut out another heart and glue it on there, or you can take these and glue them on there, and then it kind of just becomes a little more dimensional. So you can write a message on one side, have more of an iconic word on the other. But yeah, you could, theoretically, if you do both projects, you could just glue that heart right on there. It's really up to you. But that's pretty much homemade Valentines.